but that's alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Moxie here in our Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about Moze Flexington, a crazy Moze build that relies on splash damage. It is a no capstone build. We're going into no capstones. It's really unique. We do crazy amounts of damage. You can use any weapon, any grenade, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys because it's awesome. Before we get into the video and everything that you guys need to know, if you guys are enjoying the content, like the videos, be sure to drop a like, maybe comment, and do Mr. Torg proud and explode that subscribe button. Alright guys, let's get into the video. So, right now on your screen, you should be seeing the skill tree. Now, it is a no capstone Moze build, which looks really weird, but I'm going to be explaining our decisions for everything. But before we get into the rest of everything we need to talk about this class mod, this is the MINDSWEEPER class mod. I made a video on this a while ago showcasing that you can one-shot bosses with a green grenade or a white grenade or whatever you want to use to one-shot bosses with it. It is extremely strong, and this build focuses on making the most out of the MINDSWEEPER to achieve some of the craziest DPS that we can on Moze. The damage levels that we can put out are scary. Now, the MINDSWEEPER, when you land a crit, is going to spawn a grenade that can then crit again, as long as we're spec'd into pull the holy pin. And we can get these crazy chains that happen that nuke absolutely any enemy in the game. Now, they are kind of luck-based because they're not guaranteed to happen unless you hit a crit, but then the chance of that grenade critting is all luck. But we're using things that allow us to spawn the grenades constantly and quickly, and we're using Vampire. The grenades can heal us, and the fact that the grenades can heal us allow us to sustain very well without having to throw that many grenades. So overall, you're going to be cycling in and out of Iron Bear, doing crazy amounts of splash damage, nuking everything, getting your action skill back, and yeah, it's crazy. It does Mr. Torg proud, the amount of explosions that this build puts out and the amount of damage. Now, let's talk about the skill tree, and then we'll get into the gear. So, skill tree first. The reason that we're not going short fuse, to explain that, is because we're grabbing Drowning in Brass and Experimental Munitions and Armored Infantry. The fact that we aren't going all the way down allows us to put a lot more points in this red tree. Drowning in Brass gives us 60% gun damage per enemy that we kill. We're going to be able to keep this up, and the 60% increased gun damage is more consistent damage output than the secondary explosion chance 20% with 75% of our gun damage from short fuse. Not going short fuse allows us to avoid Iron Bear or Stainless Steel Bear and put more points into Pull the Holy Fin, Vampire, and all of these things. So 60% gun damage from that. But we're also going to be able to get this skill, Experimental Munitions, which was also recently buffed. We're going to get bonus incendiary damage when we do a critical. Now, this build is focused on hitting criticals because criticals proc MINDSWEEPER, and it scales off of our criticals. So the bonus incendiary damage on Experimental Munitions is really nice, as well as we're going increased incendiary damage on Cloud of Lead to give us bonus incendiary damage every 4 shots. Stoke the Embers to increase our incendiary damage, and our MINDSWEEPER is spec'd into Fire in the Skag Den to give us increased incendiary damage. We're getting a crap ton of damage out of this build, and we're going Click Click. Now, Click Click was also recently buffed to 60% gun damage. Click Click doesn't work that well with Moze's green tree unless you're doing the reload trick where you deplete your ammo. We don't need to do this because we're using, for the most part, low magazine size with high ammo consumption, such as the Tiggs boom, such as the Anarchy, and because of that, we're able to get down to Click Click very quickly, fully use that 60% gun damage. Now, because there's no enemies around, we're not doing any splash damage. We're not able to sustain our ammo that much, but with redistribution, with means of destruction, with Cloud of Lead and our points into match set, we are able to fire our weapon a lot at low magazine size to do crazy damage. Plus, for bossing, we have some for the road so that we can hop out of Iron Bear. Once we hop out of Iron Bear, we have unlimited ammo with a Tiggs boom and can absolutely rain down as much explosive damage as we can. This will proc meteors everywhere because we're using a ×18. The more different elemental damages that we're doing, the more meteors that we're going to proc. Those meteors that can spawn additional Minesweeper grenades, and everything just explodes. Now, the rest of the points are just to boost that. We're going match set instead of Iron Bank. I know that looks weird, but you're going to get a higher magazine size boost out of using match set. If you don't have 4 weapons to use here, then you could totally go Iron Bank. But because we do, we're going match set to give us a higher magazine size boost. Scorching RPMs, easy pickup, more critical hit damage. We're aiming at critical hits, we're boosting our critical hit damage. And then Vampire, we're spawning grenades often. We're using a Tiggs boom that's ×18. When you aim down sights, you can hit a lot of crits on an enemy to spawn multiple Minesweeper grenades. Those Minesweeper grenades can heal us with Vampire, which allows us to reduce our grenade spam. You can spam grenades, but this build allows us to spam a lot less if that is what you're into. Auto Bear can proc Minesweeper grenades. It can heal us off of our splash damage. And we're hopping out of Iron Bear with unlimited ammo with Grizzled so that we can kill a crap ton of things really quickly and get our Iron Bear back really fast. Overall, this build is crazy, and I'm really enjoying this non-capstone build that allows us to fully use click, kill tons of things with Drowning in Brass, not spam grenades, and put out stupid splash damage. Now, I think the rest of the skill points pretty self-explanatory. For the Iron Bear, the best thing to use is target softening. It can crit, it'll increase the damage that enemies take, and it can heal you. But Mr. Torg would want us to use Hammer Down Protocol because explosions and reasons. So Hammer Down Protocol is also sick. Target softening is better, but if you're going the full explosion route, Hammer Down Protocol for sure. Now, weapons, the Tiggs boom is the best thing that you can use. Weapons with 160 splash is the best anoint you can get. 160 splash is going to increase the damage that our Minesweeper grenades do. So 160 splash with 120 splash right behind that. The splash damage is going to fully boost the meteors and the damage that the Tiggs boom puts out. Once again, though, you can use any weapon as long as you can hit crits quickly with the weapon that you're using. You're going to be doing just fine. The hyper focus is gross because it is a high fire rate SMG that puts out a lot of crits very quickly because it's dead accurate and has great damage. So the hyper focus is great. The Krakatoa is great for bossing with its base damage and fire rate. The Soul Render is really good. Storos Burn, when you proc your fire combust, all your hits will crit, spawning crazy amounts of grenades, which is awesome. The Redistributor works here really well as well. Because it's chains. When you chain with the Redistributor, if you crit with the Redistributor, the chain that crits can proc Minesweeper grenades, so you're proccing Minesweeper grenades on enemies that you're not even shooting at, which is awesome. Anarchy is the Anarchy. It's probably the highest damage weapon in the game, so when you're using one of these on this build, it gets really gross. Anarchy, you guys know, is broken. Let's talk about shields and grenades and artifacts real quick. So if you can get grenade damage, area effect damage, magazine size, something like this is absolutely disgusting for this build. This is God Roll Last Stand Auto Idol. It's going to give us a lot of survivability and healing. So super awesome. We're going to be killing things so quickly that with the Minesweeper grenades and the Last Stand Auto Idol, we're pretty set. However, I have found that the Pearl is also really great Now the Pearl with weapons such as a ×20 Anarchy, such as a Tiggs boom, same in Galactic Flak when using high pellet weapons, you're going to be able to instantly proc your Pearl, giving all of your shots 90% increased damage. And when you're using the Pearl, you're going to notice a higher, from what I found, a more consistent kill. Really like consistent because you're always going to be having it up, always proccing it. However, if you can find something like this, it'll do a lot more for scaling your grenade damage and giving you those crazy Minesweeper chains, especially area of effect damage. Area of effect damage actually increases your splash radius, which allows for even better use of our Minesweeper grenades and our splash damage weapons. I did not go toward cross promotion. I know it's Mr. Torg build, but these explosions were killing me. When I took these points out, I stopped getting killed from my own explosions, and that's really nice. The Old God is amazing. Plus 20% incendiary damage on this thing is going to be boosting a ton of our damage because we're so spec'd into fire damage with experimental munitions, with Stoke the Ebers, with Cloud of Lead, Fire in the Skag Den. We're doing a ton of fire damage, so this plus 20 incendiary damage is godly, plus another different elemental anoint. However, if you can't get an Old God, a recharger is a great option, a stopgap is a great option, a transformer is a great option, a double downer is a great option. There is a lot of great options. Anything that you want to use, I've been using the Old God because we're always doing incendiary damage, so it's just a flat boost to our damage, and we're using a cloning magnet tracker. Cloning magnet tracker can kill bosses on its own. It's that strong. It does a crazy amount of crit damage, and spawns a ton of Minesweeper grenades. So throwing one of these can heal you to full just like that. It is still the best in slot for Moze. It is the best in slot for this build, and I highly recommend getting one. But you're less reliant on your grenade for healing compared to Fire Hose Moze with this build. So yeah, still cloning magnet tracker, but it isn't as necessary of a grenade to get because of our Vampire procs off of our Minesweeper grenades. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It is a crazy build. It does stupid amounts of damage. Absolutely really happy with our skill tree specs, our decisions here. Everything works so well together. Everything synergizes so well. And it truly is a lot of fun. You put out tons of damage, meteors everywhere if you're using the Tiggs boom, and you can genuinely use any weapon. The spectacle of proccing a Minesweeper chain to kill Grave Ward with a single grenade with this build is awesome, and I really do think it's an awesomely fun Moze build. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace!